Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863. His father's name was William and his mother's was Mary. He was born first out of 6 kids. He grew up on the family farm in what is today Dearborn, Michigan. He did what most of the other kids did, which was spending his days in a one-room school and doing farm chores. When he was very young, he showed interest in constructing mechanical things, and he loathed the farm work.
When he was just 16 years old, he left his family home for a nearby city, also known as Detroit. He was going to work as a mechanic's apprentice. He also went back to the farm once in a while to help out his family. He worked as an apprentice for 3 years before he returned to Dearborn.
As the next few years went by, Ford operated and repaired steam engines, found occasional work in a factory in Detroit, and took control of his father's farm implements, while he worked on the farm sometimes. In 1888, he married Clara Bryant. He supported himself and his wife by running a sawmill. In 1891, he started working as an engineer with the Edison Illuminating Company, which was in Detroit. This is what got his life going into the direction of his industrial pursuits. When he got promoted to chief engineer in 1893, it gave him more free time so that he could work on his own personal experiments on internal combustion engines. By working on those engines, he made his self-propelled vehicle called the quadricycle.
The quadricycle had 4 wheels that sort of looked like bicycle tires. They were heavier. It was steered with a tiller like a boat and had only 2 forward speeds with no reverse. He invented the quadricycle in 1896. Even though he was not the only person to make a self-propelled gasoline engine, he was one of many different engineers that made this country a nation of motorists.
After 2 failed attempts at trying to establish a company to construct automobiles, the Ford Company was made in 1903. Henry Ford had 2 jobs. They were vice president and chief engineer. The small factory only produced a few cars daily. They had groups of 2 to 3 men work on the cars. His dream was that he wanted a cheap, reliable, and efficient car. With the debut of the Model T in 1908, era in public transportation, the car was easy to control, maintain, and handle on rough roads. It was an enormous success. In 1918, half of all cars were Model Ts.
To keep up with the high demand of Model Ts, the company opened a humongous factory at Highland Park, Michigan. It was established in 1910. He invented an assembly line in which it had combined precision manufacturing, standardized and interchangeable parts, and also a division of labor. It made it so much more effortless. The vehicle would move down the line and each worker had to place a part on the vehicle. With the invention of the assembly line, it lowered costs on cars.
With the production of all the Model Ts, it made Ford Motor Company the largest automobile producer. The assembly line cut the hours in half to make a Model T. Instead of taking 12 hours, it only took them 6. As time went on, it only took 93 minutes to assemble a Model T. The Model T eventually only took 24 seconds to make, and the cost of each car was below $300. So making the assembly line made Ford's dream of making a car that was affordable to ordinary people possible. The assembly line can go back to ancient times, but he made the first for the industrial technique. The assembly line changed the shape of America from rural to city, and it spurred a new industrial revolution, factories everywhere. It helped create a national highway system. A new complex was to be built along the banks of Rouge River in Dearborn. The company had everything it needed to run an automobile production. It had a steel mill, glass factory, and an automobile assembly line. His workers were paid $5 a day, which doubled other companies' wages. The workers worked 8 hours a day instead of 9 hours a day, so that the factory had 3 shift work days. These innovations made him an international celebrity.
The automobile pioneer died on April 7, 1947. He died of cerebral hemorrhage at the age of 83. He had retired 9.5 years before he died. He was found dead at his estate in Fairland, which was not far from his boyhood home in Dearborn. He was said to be in excellent health just a week before he died. He turned his vast empire over to his grandson, Henry Ford II, while he was still alive. He said he wanted to devote more time to his own personal interests.
coming my way to North Carolina, staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep forgetting me, and I lost my money playing poker, so I had to up and lay. But I ain't no turning back to live that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking due south out of Roanoke, I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long toke. But he's headed west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. And I gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey.
I'm chillin' on a dirt road, laid back swerving like I'm George Jones. Smoke rolling out the window and ice cold beer sitting in the console. Memory laid up in the headlights, it's got me reminiscing on the good times. I'm turning off a real life driving, that's right, I'm hitting easy street on mud tires. Back in the day, Pop's Farm was a place to go. Load the truck up, hit the dirt road, jump the barbed wire, spread the word, light the bonfire and call the girls. King and the can and the Marlboro man, Jack and Jim were a few good men where you learn how to kiss and cuss and fight too. Better watch out for the boys in blue and all this small town he said, she said. Ain't it funny how rumors spread like I know something y'all don't know? Man, that talk is getting old. You better mind your business, man, watch your mouth before I have to knock that loud mouth out. I'm tired of talking, man, y'all ain't listening. Them old dirt roads is what y'all miss. I'm chilling on a dirt road, laid back swerving like I'm George Jones. Smoke rolling out the window and ice cold beer sitting in the console. Memory laid up in the headlights, it's got me reminiscing on the good times.